Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we are playing some Dimir Spirits in Pauper. This is a deck that I saw Kerblinski playing. He's played a couple videos with this deck, and it's obviously changed a little bit over time, but the most recent one, I thought the deck just looked absolutely insane and really fun. So I figured we had to take it for a spin. So, the main engine of the deck is going to be the fact that we have Enigma Eidolon and Entropic Eidolon, or Eidolon, who knows, which both have the text, whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you may return this card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is one of many cards in Pauper that we're not trying to cast it or do anything, any of its activated abilities or anything like that, because they are very overcosted. 4 mana for 2/2s. With a mana, sack this creature, target player loses a life, you gain 1, or mill 3 cards. So very underwhelming effects. We're just trying to use them to fuel our other cards, since they are free cards we can discard that will then come back to our hand. So the ways we're going to be doing this, obviously we need a bunch of multicolored spells, right? So Sneaky Snacker is of course probably one of the best multicolored creatures or spells at all in the entire format right now. And it works nicely with the same types of cards because it's another card that wants to be discarded. So Snacker's definitely in here. Dahada's Ploy is really nice. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Gain life equal to the number of cards you've discarded this turn. So of course, drawing 2 could be our 3rd card drawn, which would let our Sneaky Snacker return to the battlefield, but also it allows us to discard a card, which can be one of the Eidolons. And then it has Jumpstart, which means we have to discard a card as an additional cost to cast it from our graveyard. You can discard one of the Eidolons as part of the cost, but it still will trigger off of the ploy being cast to bring it back to your hand, and then you can discard it again off of just 1. So this card just works really, really well. Shade Blade, finally catch you live. Love Dimir Spirits, hell yeah. This deck I think is going to be pretty sweet, and so that's Dahada's Ploy. Mob Lookout is a new one. When it enters, target creature you control connives, and so this is also a way to loot. It also is a multicolored spell, and it's a nice blocker against red. And also it's target creature connives, so you can add a counter to your Snacker or to any of your other creatures. We're also playing a couple Kitchen Imps. Since we're discarding cards, we can madness them out as well. And then our last multicolored spell is a couple Agony Warps, just removal that lines up very nicely against aggressive decks. Also can just be -3/-3 to 1 creature, but it's a multicolored spell, so it's also going to trigger these guys. Then obviously we're blue-black mid-range deck, so we're obviously playing some cast downs and some counter spells as some nice removal. Brainstorms to find the right cards that we want. Lorien Revealed pairs with the Brainstorm. We're playing a couple Escape Tunnels, your standard fetch land that works nicely with Brainstorm. But also the reason we're playing Escape Tunnel is because of the last, or one of the 2 last cards we're playing, Vampire Hounds. 2 mana, or 3 mana for a 2/2. Discard a creature card. This creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. This looks very unassuming and frankly not very good. But it did tons of work in Kerblinski's video because you're able to just discard 2 or 3 Eidolons, and then you are able to bring them back with a spell, discard them again, and you can just hit for a ton of damage. And since this starts as a 2/2, you can make it unblockable with the Escape Tunnel as well. And then finally, we're playing Shipwreck Sifters, which is another looter. When it enters, you draw and discard. And whenever you discard a spirit card or a card with Disturb, that's not irrelevant, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Well, we're going to be discarding these spirits over and over and over, so these guys can get pretty big. We got a bunch of islands, swamps, and then aquifers to tutor out with the Lorien Reveals. So that's our main deck, and then in our sideboard we have a Dispel, some Blue Elemental Blast, Arms of Hadar, Last Rites, 2 Extract a Confession, 2 Duress, and 3 Nile Spellbomb. So this deck looks really sweet. I have not played it before, so if I make some mistakes, I will not be surprised. But let's take it for a league and see how we do. All right. And I had planned to stream yesterday. I didn't end up doing so because I had some work to get done on my guides. My guides for a couple decks. So I just updated my Black Sack guide. So if you have already purchased that, then there's an update available that you already have access to. And if you haven't, then there's a brand new update for it. If you are interested in potentially playing the deck for Paupergeddon in a month or any other tournaments you have coming up, that could be pretty sweet. And then in about 15 minutes here, my video for the day is going to go up, which is Esper Affinity and or Cryoblade. And I have finished my guide on that as well. So if you've been loving Esper Affinity as much as I have, you can now purchase a 60-page guide with 38 sideboard matchups and just a whole bunch of me talking way too much about the deck because I love it a lot. And yeah, so that's going to be going up in just a bit here. Based Esper Affinity. Absolutely. One of the best decks out there. We're against Illuminati. They play Mono Blue Terror, if I'm correct about that. This hand's not great. If they are Terror, which is usually the case, then Agony Warp's not very good unless we hit a Delver. 2 Agony Warps is pretty rough. We don't have any way to discard these cards, so Brainstorm could just lock us. I think we're going to mulligan this. It's a little annoying because it was a pretty reasonable amount of lands and spells, and this is a 1-lander, so we got to go down further. But this looks better. We have both of our Agony Warps again, although we'll get rid of one of them. And I guess we'll probably get rid of the other one. Yeah. Where are your guides available? They are available on my Metafy, which is this right here. You can get my guides. You can get access to coaching if you want me to coach you, or deck donations if you want me to play something wacky or that I would not usually play. We don't have double blue for this counterspell, unfortunately, so I think I'm just going to go Mob Lookout, discard the Snacker. We get a Lorien, which is not bad. Hits our land drop. I've been trying to make Tortex work in the list. It's good with Kitchen Imp and rebuying your threats with a Snacker or Eidolon when grinding. Yeah, I know there was a funky Tortex list like 6 months to a year ago that was also running the Eidolons for value. It was like a Sultai list or something, and it was pretty interesting. Of course, it's pretty slow, but yeah, I could see it being pretty sweet here. So I can hold up Counterspell. I could go for a Dahada's Ploy to bring back the Snacker. It gets Spell Pierced, which is kind of rough, and then they can slam like a Terror. So I think we should just pass, and we'll just cycle Lorien for another land drop. We got him hurting right now with this Lookout. We do get a cast down, so I could let a Terror through, but now if I go for a Ploy and they counter it and then Mental Note or something, they could put down 2 or 3 terrors, and that's pretty rough. I think we'll just keep passing Brainstorm, and I could play a Ploy at the end step, but not getting a Snacker back just feels like it's not doing quite enough. Now that we got an Eidolon, it's decent, so we have something we actually want to discard, but I think we're still not tapping out here. They're really hurting because we're hitting them for so much damage here. There's a Serpent. That one I can cast down without paying Ward, so I'll just go for that. 20 turn clock never fails. Yep, exactly right. So I think we'll play the Ploy now. We have Counterspell available. If they counter this, I probably let that go. They have a Dispel. Yeah, we can flash it back if we want next turn, but I'd rather have a Counterspell for the first Serpent. And even though this one doesn't have Ward, I think we just go for it since we don't currently have another removal spell. Horned Turtle beats. Yeah, exactly right. That all 1-4. So we get Spell Pierced. There's another Terror. We get a Swamp. So we'll cast Dahada's Ploy, discarding the Eidolon, which will instantly bring it back. Always yes, always yield. And then we draw 2. We can discard it again. This will bring back the Snacker, assuming it resolves. Hey Ben, how's it going? They do counterspell it. That's pretty annoying. 1 card left in hand, and we just have this guy. Plus they have a Sleep of the Dead. Yeah, so they tap this down, meaning we're dead in 2 turns. I guess some card draw into cast down would be good, or just a creature that could block. I guess that's a creature that can block, technically. We'll just play the one they know about. It doesn't matter, because they can Sleep of the Dead it, and then we'll die. Alright, unfortunate. We get Spell Bombs, Duress, Dispel maybe? Let's see, Agony Warp is not bad, because it can get a Delver, but otherwise doesn't do a lot. Blue Terror is just so good. It certainly is. Very good deck. Kitchen Imp lines up decently against Delver. Already this feels like a tough deck to sideboard with. Mob Lookout's like a chump blocker, but that's kind of it. And I guess chump blockers are less relevant when they have Sleep of the Dead, so maybe we cut those. And I guess we already have Snackers, Cast Downs, Agony Warps for the Delvers. And I don't have to bring in the Duresses, I guess. Everything else feels a little better. I guess honestly maybe our main engine is just not quite as important here because we're not looking to grind, we just want to not die to them. Agony Warp doesn't feel great into 5/5s. Yeah, I mean, if we can make one like 2 toughness, then we can trade with a lot of our guys, and it's good with Delver. But I do think we can cut one of those, and maybe like one of these guys. I don't want to go too low on the multicolored spells, but yeah. Double Spell Bomb is interesting. Sure. I think our best bet is to go a little bit later. The Swamp's pretty annoying since we have a counter spell here, but I think I'm just going to play a Spell Bomb on turn 1 so they can't counter it since we have a slow hand anyway. They have a Delver, and I guess I just play another one. I mean, they have the Delver, so their game plan is just going to be that as opposed to snakes. This certainly makes it so that they are not going to be able to get any snakes down, which is nice. But we will also need to find a snacker or something for this guy. They Thought Scour, hit 2 islands. So I could cycle Lorien, hold up a counter spell, or I could just brainstorm and then Lorien. I think that's probably a little better since we don't have to worry about the terrors anyway. Escape Tunnel or Lorien can cycle, or can shuffle rather. Ploy is good with these. I can hold up Dispel if I cycle the Lorien, so that's pretty decent. So I guess we'd get rid of one of these guys in the Escape Tunnel. So we're going to take 3 Aquifer. We're just going to pass. Certainly if they fill their graveyard a little more, we're going to crack a bomb. They go for a Thought Scour. That's 4 spells, so we will crack one of these to prevent a terror from coming down. There's a Sifters. Does not block the Aberration, so not amazing. And a Swamp. So I'll play Sifters, and then we can leave up Counterspell or Ploy. Discard this guy. We get a Cast Down. Okay. So do I want to cast down the Aberration now? I can do it with a Dispel backup. So they would need 2 Counterspells. I think that might be worth it. We obviously got to get rid of this. And I'm still holding off the terrors pretty nicely. They go for a Thought Scour, so I think we just do it now. They could have the mana to counter both, but we're just hoping they do not. And Dispel works. All right. They do hit 2 spells. So that's 4. So do I need to spell bomb this? I don't have a counter spell. Yeah, I think we do. If they just land like a couple terrors, it's pretty bad. I don't love that I lose out on the card draw. And they have a Mental Note right away. And a Ponder. We get another Eidolon. So let's cast the Ploy, return this. We get to draw 2, discard one of these. We also have the Hounds. Okay, so we can counterspell the first thing they cast. And then we have Hounds next turn with Ploy and a bunch of the Eidolons. Seems okay. There's a Serpent. We're going to counter. They got the Spell Pierce, but we can play Hounds. And, I mean, I could attack, and the Sifters could be way bigger than they can be, because I can discard these guys and then how does Ploy get them all back, discard again. I think we'll probably wait on that because currently we're showing 5 damage, but I'm pretty sure I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. I think I can do lethal damage next turn. So if I just attack with these 2 kind of unassuming creatures and they decide to take it, even through a counterspell on the Ploy, I should be able to deal lethal, which means I could take this. However, I could also just block and eat their guy because this only needs 3 discards. I discard 1, discard, yeah, I think we just block, actually. Discard a creature. Since I'm discarding spirits to this guy's going to grow. Then we're going to flashback the Ploy, discarding this guy, which will trigger this. Bring all of these guys back. This resolves, which is great. We get another one. Now this is a 6/7, plus we still have these in hand, and a Ploy. That's what we're trying to do. They play a Serpent, and another Serpent. Lorien revealed. So, yeah, if I attack with both, again, we have 5. We have tons of damage, so they have to chump at least one of these. So that's pretty good for us. And if they don't, they just take super lethal. They double block the Shipwrecked Sifters. So discard here, discard here. I might be able to get lethal just from this one guy. Bring these all back. Discard again. This is at 6, so I can do 10. This I can also definitely eat both of these. We're already there. Then I can cast the Dahada's Play again, discard the Sifters. That grows this. This is insane. Look at this. Bring all these guys back. Discard one of these guys. And then I didn't quite have lethal. I shouldn't have discarded that guy because I could discard it to this one. But I can put him to 3 here. Keep our guy alive, eat both of theirs, and then play a Spell Bomb, which I might as well just blow up their graveyard. Oh, look at that. That was sick. We went way bigger than their Serpents. Ate the guy on their attack, and they double blocked with 12 power and didn't kill our guy. That's what we're looking for. All right, I'll resubmit. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, the Dahada's Ploy is just incredible with these guys. All right, this hand's not bad. We have the Hounds, which is also really key to the combo, kind of a combo. But we have land drops a little slow, and we have a Spell Bomb. It is a slow hand, but with a Cast Down and a Spell Bomb, I think I like it. Discarding non-creatures to Dahada's Ploy would have been lethal with the Hounds. That last turn, or the last one that I used, I discarded a creature, and I should have discarded a non-creature. But I guess, yeah, if I did it previously as well, you're right. That would have been. Yeah, good call. I should look at that a little more next time. Spellbomb feels almost key to defeating this deck. It certainly is important. There's just very few ways you can deal with, 3 Serpents on turn 4 if they are able to manage that. Spellbomb's a way to get around. Now, it feels like playing a Spellbomb here just gets countered, so I think I'm just going to get an Aquifer, just to have a little more black mana in case I need it, since the Sifter and Spare Eidolon would have been 2 more activations. Yep, I think you're definitely right. I was focused on the value, not discarding other cards, but you're right, I definitely could have. I did not even expect the 1 Hounds would have been able to be lethal, so I wasn't thinking about that from the very beginning, which I should have been. So good call. All right, Delver, 4 spells in the grave. They have counterspell mana up. Another ploy. So cycle this for an island. Spellbomb's definitely countered. So I feel like I play the Shipwreck Sifters, which can start growing, can hopefully find us more land. If it gets countered, I don't care about that. Maybe that next turn I can Spellbomb and or cast down through a counterspell. I think we start with this guy. They saw how scary it was last time. I don't know if that means they're going to counter it this time, though. They choose not to. Ooh, Snacker. Snacker doesn't grow this, but if we then go for a ploy, you can maybe come back and block this. Yeah, I think that's a better one to pitch then. Flip on a Ponder. Swing for 3. They go for the Ponder. Play an island and pass. They kind of thought about not playing the Ponder, so I assume they didn't have a land. They found it off the Ponder, but they might have a Spell Pierce and a Counterspell that they were wanting to leave up. They decided to risk it, which means Spellbomb and Cast Down might both get countered. The Hottest Ploy would bring back the Snacker. That gets easily Spell Pierced, which is kind of annoying. Hounds probably gets Counterspelled. I think I'd still go for the Ploy. It's really good if it resolves because we can get back the Snacker, grow this a little bit, and try to find our land drop. But yeah, expect a Spell Pierce. Swing for 1. They hit for 3. We're down to 14. And just pass with double Counterspell up. We hit a land, which is nice. So here, I think I flashback or jumpstart the Ploy, discarding an Eidolon. Oops, always yes. Trigger these. They have a Dispel for that. Swing for 2, and they are at capacity now, 6 spells, so I could go for the Spellbomb. I know they're going to have a Counterspell. That would let a Cast Down or a Hounds resolve next turn, maybe. But I think it'd be better to just cast the Spellbomb next turn, because if they go for like a Serpent here, maybe they only have 1 Counterspell, then we Spellbomb, they counter that, and the Hounds resolves, and the Hounds blocks really nicely. And hopefully we won't have to spend this cast down on this Aberration. Right now we would like to bring the Snacker back to block it, but if the Ploy keeps getting countered, that's not going to work. They Brainstorm, play an island, and pass the turn. Another one of these guys. So Hounds or the Ploy. I feel like Hounds definitely gets a Counterspell, because it can be lethal pretty soon. So I'd kind of like that to resolve. So I'm going to go for the Ploy here. I got to run out of counterspells at some point, but not today. There's a Spell Pierce. Swing for 2. And then, again, I could Spellbomb now. They haven't played a Terror, so they don't have one. I think that's almost for sure. I think I'm going to wait. 1 more turn, probably. Play an island. Swing for 3. 5 mana for Lorien, so this is our chance. That's pretty good value from them. They could still have a Spell Pierce or an Annul or something. Annul would be kind of a weird one to bring in, but if they're worried enough about the Spellbombs, it's possible they would. I guess they could play a Terror for 1, but then we have free reign of anything, and that is what they're going to do. Okay. Island is decent, so I can play Hounds. Yeah, we missed a couple land drops, which is pretty annoying, because I would love to Ploy to bring back the Snacker and play the Hounds, and the Spellbomb even, but I could Spellbomb them and play Hounds, which can block the Terror, or it or the Sifters could block the Terror. Then we're taking a hit from the Aberration again, but the Snacker comes in tapped anyway. Yeah, I think we're going for the Spellbomb plus the Hounds, but we'll crack this first just in case we draw something else we want to cast. Brainstorm does get back the Snacker, but only leaves us 2 mana, so I don't think that's it. Play Hounds, and we gotta pass. Since we blew up the graveyard, Sleep of the Dead's not insane here, or rather it doesn't win the game necessarily, unless they can also fill the graveyard. 1 Demon Fear doesn't let their Terror attack in, but 2 removal spells obviously wins the game. You can lose from sleep. Yeah, that's definitely true, although I'm exiling the graveyard helps with that. They're going to go for the Hounds. I'm going to discard all these guys in response because we can get them back anyway, and it makes the Sifters big enough to block the Terror. If they have another Demon Inferior, we will lose, but I can't do anything about that. And we'll put this second from the top. Yep, they also have the Sleep of the Dead. All right, can't do anything about that. I think we were just pinched on mana a little bit more than we would have liked. I think it was right waiting that long for the Spellbomb, and unfortunate we died with the Cast Down in hand. Didn't really have a great time to play it though. And their Lorien got a little lucky. You know, they only play like 4 to 6 of these spells in their deck, so getting 2 of them is pretty good, but it was close. Still had a pretty sweet game 2 there. All right, we're on the draw here, and GG's, I wasn't looking. I appreciate that. Thanks for the games. I appreciate the not looking, that is, but yeah, fun games for sure. Yeah, this one's fine. We can Mob Lookout a Kitchen Imp or Eidolon or something. I think safe play there was cast down on 3/2 and draw from the grave. Yeah, that definitely would have been safer. We wouldn't have had a good block on the terror, but we wouldn't have been dead to just the terror. And we would have gotten the snacker back from the graveyard, which means we'd have 2 blockers. But we wouldn't have blown up the graveyard, which means that another terror could come down and be pretty bad for us. We wouldn't have gotten the hounds out, which means it could get counterspelled. I agree. I think that that's the safe play. I'm not sure if it was the best one. But it doesn't seem terrible. It's just they are still left with the ability to counter our hounds, which is really good. The graveyard, which is great off the Sleep of the Dead. Yeah, I don't know. All right, I might just have to play the Lookout as a blocker here. So I'm not going to Brainstorm yet. We're just going to do this so that I can block it. Wonder if Cast Down on the Aberration was the right call, since more terrors wouldn't have been immediately lethal. I don't know, that was tough. Yeah, like I said. Ooh, that's annoying. Target creature you control connive, so I guess I just don't get that ability at all. A little annoying there. Yeah, like Evil Drake said, I think probably the safe play, but not sure. Not sure if it was the right one. Interesting deck. Yeah, this is a sweet Dimir Spirits deck. We're getting trounced. Kerblinski played this the other day, and I thought it looked way too good to not give a try. I guess we just cast down the Emissary, and then I Brainstorm and hope to find the answer to all my problems. I might as well just Brainstorm now. That does not solve all of our problems. We will put these 2 back. Ren's Resolve, can't do anything about it. Galvanic Blast, that's 4 damage. So we're going to take 8 here, down to 3, unless they have a card in hand. And they discard a mountain. Right there makes it feel like they probably have a Fire Blast in their deck, because they were seeing if they could find it. We could just play 1. Oh, I forgot to cycle. So we're obviously drawing this back. Then I could just play one of these. I mean, we're kind of dead either way. We had a pretty good start, and we had a pretty slow start. The Mob Lookout would have been really good, but obviously their Bolt was pretty good there. We get Blue Blasts, Arms of Hadar. That's pretty much it. Dispel doesn't even hit that much. Kitchen Imp is slow and expensive, I think. Cast Downs, kind of the same. I guess that's all we need. Yeah, I think everything else is better than a Dispel. Red wins anything when it opens like that. Yeah. I don't feel too bad because they're going to crush that every time unless I have like a Suffocating Fumes in my main deck. All right, we have the Arms of Hadar, and we have a Snacker on turn 2 as a blocker. It's not amazing, but I think since we have a little way to slow him down and then hopefully a way to not get fully steamrolled, it should be okay, assuming they don't have another amazing start. Clockwork's fine. Brainstorm can bring back the Snacker. So I'm probably just trading off for anything here. Bushwhacker, sure. I know we have the Arms of Hadar, but this would be 2 damage and then more damage next turn and the next turn, so I'd rather just get this going. Ooh, Sifters is pretty good because it can start growing. I guess by playing this, we don't for sure have Arms of Hadar next turn, but I still think this is okay. And we can Brainstorm to get back the Snacker. This currently dies to a Bolt, which I don't love, but couldn't do much about that. There's a synth into another synth. Okay. Decent value, but slows them down a lot, which is nice. Into a Burning Tree Emissary, but they've already played the land, so they can't play it. There's an Epicure. All right. Not going too poorly. Let's Brainstorm. And kind of like all of these. I guess maybe I don't need the second ploy right now, because we only have one of these guys, so we can shuffle it away with the Escape Tunnel. I could hold up a Counterspell, or I could play the Hounds, although currently I don't have a way to protect it. I guess I hold up ploy / Counterspell. Let's just do that. And Ren's Resolve, I think, is just good enough to counter another Epicure. Sack the Tunnel, not for a land, not the other one. Am I going to need double black? Maybe. I use my Counterspell, so even if we get another one, I'm not going to have to hold up quad blue right now. Another Tunnel. Yeah, I'll play the Hounds out. Another Ren's Resolve. Finds them another Ren's Resolve and an Epicure. There it is. This might be the turn to go for an Arms of Hadar. It's not like the most creatures ever, but 4 1/1s is still pretty valuable. Plus next turn they're going to cast a Ren's Resolve, so they're probably not going to be able to fill the yard much, or the board much. Yeah, I think we're just going for it. They get a mountain. We get to start attacking. Should I leave back Snacker just in case to block? Yeah, that's probably better. In case they have something hasty. Mountain and the Resolve. They find a Tomb Raider and a Synth. So nice I left this back. And obviously I could have left back the Sifters, which blocks it nicely, but I'd rather trade these off, honestly, and just get the Snacker back. Or if they want to hold it back, that's probably fine too. Pyroblast the Sifters. Aw, that's annoying. Mob Lookout. Let's just go for a Dahada's Ploy first. I guess I gain more life if I play a Mob Lookout first. Sure. let's do that. All right, and that brings this guy back. We'll pump up the hounds, discard this guy. Then we want to get back our sneaky snacker and gain some life, so let's do this. Gain a couple, swing for 3. Dude, I have another version of this. Okay, let's take a look. Synth. All right, we have, going into the disturb theme a little bit. Snacker, deep analysis. 15 lands seems very low, I will say. Okay, looks cool. Ooh, they have the bushwhacker. Not bad. We'll block here, take 4, and I guess I just cycle this Lorien. I actually could discard it on our turn when we cast the ploy to gain an extra life, but I think I'd rather just the extra mana instead. So let's see. Playing the Mob Lookout gets back the Eidolon, which can grow the Sifters. So I guess we play the Sifters first. Ooh, perfect. Discard this. Grows this guy. Now we can play the Mob Lookout, which can bring them both back. Connive onto the Hounds again, I guess. Which, if I discard this... Actually, can we just hit for lethal? This is 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12. Not quite, but it's pretty close. Let's discard this and flash, or jumpstart this again. Get these guys back. I was not supposed to discard that one to this for the damage. Did the same thing I did last time, but that's okay. We'll still hit for 10 here. And we're at 17 life, so I think we're going to be in an okay spot, even if I am misplaying a minor amount. There's a rally. Even in another bushwhacker, we have 3 blockers, so we just take 6, not the end of the world. And they do have it. All right, well, I'll block a bunch of these, go to 11, and we'll just attack for lethal. All right, didn't even need a blue blast that game, although the Arms of Hadar was pretty good. They ended up with 6 creatures at the end there, and I'd wiped away 4 of them, so 10 could have been pretty tough for sure to deal with. All right, this is a turn 2 counterspell or a 2/3 to block. Ploy can maybe gain us some life. I mean, I don't think our hands get much better than this, to be honest. Like, obviously, if we had blue blast or arms, those are pretty good, but our deck just isn't set up super well to deal with this. Them getting the perfect turn 1 is pretty unfortunate, though, followed by a pretty decent turn 2. I guess I gotta play these guys. I mean, the chances they have a bolt to pick this off are pretty high. But if I just hold up Counterspell, we're still just taking 4. It's pretty bad. Here's a Bushwhacker. Do you still upload a video if the results of the league are trash? I can't remember seeing you upload a 1-4 before. Yes and no. There was, before I started streaming, I was basically, anytime, it wasn't just because a league was bad, or a record was bad, because I don't mind showing off a bad record, as long as the games are interesting, but often when I go 1-4, it's because I built a not very good deck, or I didn't pilot the deck properly, and so the games are less interesting. However, ever since I started streaming, the first stream that I did, I brewed a deck that was pretty bad, and I played it, and I went 0-4, and then I did not even play the last match. And so I decided to upload it as a bit of an experiment to see if people were interested in watching that kind of a video. People seemed to enjoy it, even though I didn't do very well. And so since then, I have still been uploading any videos, even if I don't do super well. So yes, I am. However, I'm not trying to brag here. I don't get a lot of 1-4s. Because I play a lot. I have a pretty decent record generally. That I usually get at least a 2-3 and often a 3-2. If they have a Fire Blast here or a Galvanic Blast and I go for a Dahada's Ploy, then I guess we die. But I can't afford to not cast it. I should have cast it before combat damage so that we wouldn't. But I'm just going to cast it. If they got it, they got it. Bring this back. All right, we're still alive, so we gain 1 life here, plus this grows. We could turn the corner here. Potentially. We have a blocker, and then I just hold up Ploy and Counterspell. I might as well play this tunnel so that I can have access to double blue next turn if I want to hold up double Counterspell, but yeah, I'll pass. So yeah, at this point, basically anything that I record is getting uploaded. But I've never specifically not uploaded something just because I did a bad record. I definitely have a couple 1-4s on the channel, and certainly plenty of 2-3s. But again, yeah, it's just usually if they don't end up making very good videos that I had not uploaded them. But now I'm uploading anything at all, so hopefully that doesn't reduce the quality too much. All right, should I ploy here? If I don't, I go to 3, and then I die to any bolt. If I cast nothing, then it's kind of bad. I'm mostly holding up Counterspell to prevent like a Bushwhacker, so I think I do go for this now. And I'm going to do the one from the graveyard just so I'm discarding an extra card. Not to mention I get these guys back, so it's not really any additional cost. But this way I gain more life. We get another Counterspell. So if we survive here, we can start holding up Counterspell plus playing one of our 3-drops. And that could be pretty good. Epicure. So again, they need a Galvanic Blast or a Fire Blast for 4 damage here. They have a Bolt when we're tapped out. Okay, sure. Sack this for an island. So yeah, I'm at 1 Sneaky Snacker. So I have to either play Hounds and Snacker so I can block everything, but then they draw 2 additional cards from the Percussionists, so the chances they hit something that deals 1 damage is pretty high. Or I could ploy here, but that only gains me 1, which means I also need to play a creature, which means I can't hold up Counterspell like no matter what. Maybe I Brainstorm to try to find another way to... If I could get the Hounds down to discard cards and then ploy, I can gain a lot of life, but that's just not going to work unless I go for the playing 2 creatures route. I guess if I Brainstorm and I don't find anything, then I can ploy for 1 and I'm still dead. So I think I have to Snacker and ploy is my best bet. Then I only have to kill 1 Percussionist. I can gain a life. Yeah, so I might as well play the ploy first, but I think this is our best bet. Fortunately, not anything relevant. Grows the Sifters. We'll play a Snacker. Get this guy back. So we have too many counterspells to be relevant. Lorien revealed. If next turn I can play Hounds and ploy, I can gain a whole bunch of life and I'll be fine. Which means I need my land, so I think I keep all my creatures. I could just get rid of this Brainstorm. I mean, we're on the edge here, but it is possible we could win, or survive, rather. If the card they drew doesn't do anything, plus this card they get doesn't do anything, plus the Blood token doesn't do anything. So I guess they still have 3 hits here. Pyroblast doesn't kill us. Does kill our guy, which is annoying. They discard a mountain. Find a Burning Tree Emissary. Okay. So yeah, they can kill our creature, but we can Hounds and ploy to gain a whole bunch of life. Oh, they can cast this until the next turn. Okay, that means they can counter the ploy, which means I can't gain the life. Ugh, and we get a blue blast. So okay, wait. That's fine though. I can play Hounds, hold up blue blast and counterspell, so I can survive whatever they play. I can also counter the pyroblast, and the next turn I can go for the hottest ploy. All right, this isn't bad. I guess they draw an extra card off the Percussionist, which I have to give them. So if they get 2 cards that deal damage here, I actually could still die. But we're holding on as best we can. Rally at the Hornburg does not kill us this turn, so they cast that. I'll let it resolve because I have blockers anyway. They're going to try to kill the Sifters. I'm going to counterspell because it's more expensive, and Blue Elemental Blast already hits basically everything. And we get an island. So now I can gain a bunch of life. So I might as well attack with this guy. In fact, we're going to hold up Counterspell. I could attack with both. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is... I feel like I'm playing Black Sack. 14 damage. I can definitely do lethal here if they don't block, which is outrageous, but I feel like the chances they block are pretty low. So we discard this to get 2 damage. Discard this one, discard this one, flashback the Dahada's Ploy, discarding the Counterspell, get all of these back, and we get the Snacker back, and we can discard this. Look at this. 20 damage. We can do 29 damage. We gotta go for it, right? Gotta go all out. So we hit him for 29 damage after being at 1 life for a long time. Also, we went up to 6 because of the ploy. Oh, that was so sick. Grind is real, let's go. Here you can gain more life. Yeah, I was just thinking, actually, if I discarded these Eidolons in response to the ploy resolving, then I actually could have gained 3 more life. So, something I should keep in mind. Oh, that was the last game. Nice. So we got that match? Yeah, I was just playing that out in my head. I made it, realized that I could have gained some more. So yeah, definitely something to keep in mind. Good call. All right, round 3 here. All right, 2 land with the Lorien. Brainstorm, although we need another land for that to not be super awkward. Hounds with Kitchen Imp. We're on the play. Yeah, this one's okay. Not amazing if we're against another red opponent or something, just because it's slow, but some good value. Play an Aquifer and pass. There is more red. Agony Warp. Yeah, so I gotta just cycle the Lorien. I could hold up a Brainstorm, though. I think I might want the second black source if we end up doing like Agony Warp and Kitchen Nip in the same turn or something. So let's just set that up. They bolt us and grab the prize with a Lava Dart. So it's going to be Madness this time. Already down to 15. Cast down. So Counterspell's not bad, but I think we need to dig for a land pretty badly. Otherwise, we're going to fall behind. So we're just hoping we hit something here. And we don't. Well, that's pretty bad, I gotta say. I mean, if they just play like a Gutter Snipe and we can cast it down, maybe we're okay. But we'll also be falling behind if we do that. So I can obviously just cast this down. I could go to end step go to cleanup, and I could either Madness the Kitchen Imp, but that taps us out of our 2-drop, so I don't like that, or I could just discard the Snacker, and then I can cast this down in their upkeep, which I probably want to do anyway. I guess if they bolt us on the end step here, maybe not, but yeah, they go for a Lava Dart. Yeah, I guess we'll just cast this down. It's not a big deal if we don't discard the Snacker. Obviously, it's not great because we don't have another Brainstorm or anything coming, but Brain Lock, yeah, it's pretty rough, but what are you going to do? Now it's tough because if they get a Gutter Snipe, they already have 2 Lava Darts that they can cast. Highway Robbery. Discard a Faithless Looting. They bolt us. And we're drawing another one of these Eidolons. So here we'll discard the Snacker and we'll counterspell any Gutter Snipe or anything, which they don't cast. Alright, we hit an island. I think we're still holding up counterspell though. We're in a bad enough spot, but if they get a little flooded and we keep hitting lands, it's not bad. That's really annoying. 3 Lava Darts in the graveyard. Gotta let a Faithless Looting resolve. Discard another Faithless Looting in a mountain. Island. So I have double counterspell now. 1 more land and I can just like play a Hounds out. They go for a bolt. We already have 3 Lava Darts in the graveyard. So 1 bolt means the next bolt is lethal. I think we counterspell this since we have a second one for a Gutter Snipe or something. Or a Flame Breather. I think we gotta counter that too. Aquifer. So we don't have a counterspell. So we pretty much just have to hope they've drawn poorly. But I get to play this Hounds and discard the Kitchen Imp, I guess. Madness it. And I mean with 2 Eidolons here for, there's maybe a world where we draw Dahada's Ploy and can like just get lethal off the Vampire Hounds with these guys. Assuming we don't just die here. Flashback Faithless Looting's a good sign for us. Fiery Temper, not so much. So we're at 6. 3 Lava Darts in the grave. So a Bolt would finish us off. Fire Blast, same thing. We're gonna die. Alright, well, we get Spell Bombs, maybe, I guess. Spell Bomb's good, but I guess with Blue Blasts and Duress, maybe we don't need them. Dispel too. Kitchen Imp is slow. Mob Lookout, the blocker's not as needed. I think we probably cut down a couple of these. Might as well keep the black ones on the off chance that we actually care about the gaining a life ability. This is a lot to bring in, but Hot Display gains us life, so I don't think we want to cut those. We want removal spells for their guys. Maybe just like one of a couple of these. We pronounce Eidolon differently and it makes my brain go clunk every time. Yeah, that's fair. Definitely around Theros when they were very popular. I looked up the proper pronunciation of it, but I can't remember which one that is. So Eidolon or Eidolon, it's one of the two. Maybe just 2 Spell Bombs. I'll try this. All right, seems reasonable. Starts with an Epicure. I think I just start with a Shipwreck Sifters, discarding the Snacker. So that blocks or it eats a Lightning Bolt. Either way, it's not a big deal. They're tanking on what to do, it appears, in their upkeep. Maybe they're having, oh yeah, lost connection to the game. They said Wi-Fi in Italy is terrible, which I'll take their word for, but they are back. Highway Robbery, discard a Snacker. Another Brainstorm. I mean, that means we have a lot of good ways to bring back the Snacker. I kind of want to Brainstorm now in case we get like a Counterspell or something to hold up. Snacker comes back tapped anyway, so it's not blocking regardless, but Blue Blast is nice. So I think we'll put back Island Lorien, bring this guy back, and we'll just pass the turn since Sifters is blocking at the moment. Swing with the Snacker. I'm certainly not going to waste a cast down on it. We'll take 2. There's another Robbery. Discard another Snacker. That is annoying. And another Epicure. Cycle our Lorien for an island. You get one of these guys. Pass the turn. Faithless Looting. They're doing this before they attack with the Snackers, which tells me that they probably have like a Fiery Temper or they want to bin a Lava Dart. Some reason they want to do it pre-combat to like get rid of our Snacker. That's a reason to maybe just go for a Blue Blast on it, but I think we'll let it go anyway. Because if we counter that and then they like attack with the Snackers and then have another draw 2, they can still get them back. Yeah, Fiery Temper to try to take out the Sifters. No, they go for the Snacker. By countering this, I'm basically killing a Snacker and gaining us 2 life. Snacker can come back, but I'd rather it trades with the guy, so I think we counter this. I also discarded another Snacker, so that's great. We brought in a couple Spell Bombs, but not enough apparently, so I guess that's gonna work. Swing with the Snackers, and I'll Brainstorm here just to see, like, theoretically if I draw like 2 more cast downs, I might want to use one on a Snacker. Another Red Blast, another Brainstorm. I guess I have a Red Blast, so I could kill one of these. Then I have to use the Red Blast probably on like the Faithless Looting or whatever to make it so they don't come back, but then I don't have any way to remove a Gutter Snipe. I think we're just taking too much damage from these guys. I'm going to cast down. This also uses mana efficiently. You can't get them back this turn, so that lets us hold up the blast for next turn. They do just bolt the Snacker. We know we have an Eidolon on top, so I can ploy now. That gets back the Snacker, which lets me hold up the Blue Blast without having to Brainstorm to get this guy back, so I think we do that. Another Brainstorm. I wish we were getting multiple Snackers, though. Pass the turn. I mean, we're not in a terrible spot, as long as we can counter the next draw 2. Oh, I guess they have 2 blood tokens, so we can't counter the next draw 2. If they just use those, which they do on a mountain and a mountain. Swing for 2. There's a Flame Breather. Suppose we'll counter that. An island. I think I gotta just Brainstorm, even without the Snacker dead. I guess I could ploy. Sure, let's go for the hottest ploy first. Discarding an island, get this guy back, and discard it again. Play an island and pass. Flashback, Faithless Looting. They discard 2, grab the prizes. That's crazy. Their hand is stacked then. They bolt the Snacker. I could Brainstorm to try to find a counterspell. I think it's probably better to just Brainstorm now to bring it back. Finally find a Spell Bomb, although it's super late. We also have a Duress, which is not bad, but we don't even have a way to kill any of these now, so yeah, pretty tough spot. I will Duress. Pyroblast, Lightning Bolt. I mean, Lightning Bolt deals us damage. Pyroblast can still kill the Snacker, since that's been their whole game plan. Guess it's got to be the Lightning Bolt. And then Spell Bomb. Yeah, pass. They're probably going to Pyroblast this. I can Brainstorm to bring it back. We got to find a way to gain life. Otherwise, we just die to the Snackers the following turn. Discard and grab the prize in order to bolt and save a Snacker is kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think their game plan has just been Snackers from the beginning. So it makes sense they're just trying to stick with it, but it definitely is not the usual plan. I could Brainstorm to try to find something to get out of this. We know one of the hits is Eidolon. I think we just let it go, though. Swing with everybody, so we're going to go down to 2. I guess we might as well Brainstorm. Yeah, it's been a weird game for sure. I can cast one of these guys down. These guys go back, cast down, so we'll go to 4 instead. I'm going to play this guy, since we don't have much else to do. It can technically gain us a life. I'll swing here. We have a block and a counterspell. Faithless Looting. I kind of feel like I just counter that. If we do, we die to a bolt. I guess I can just blow up the Spell Bomb in response. The Snacker coming back. Yeah, I guess we let it go. But if they get like a Fiery Temper or something, it's pretty bad. They discard 2 mountains. That's not my favorite either. So let them dig a bit. And, I mean, I know I'm drawing another Eidolon, so drawing a card here makes us die to any bolt or anything, but I kind of think I need to draw something because we're taking 2, and then we're taking 2 again next turn. Yeah, I think I have to draw to have a shot at winning, even though it's also risky. They don't attack. That's shocking to me. And we don't get punished for tapping out. Okay. I can't Lorien Revealed, except, I mean, if I Lorien Revealed, I tap out of this counterspell again unless I draw a land. We didn't die before, but their top deck could be something that kills us. Or I could play another Eidolon and start attacking with them. I could attack with a Sifter too. Yeah, I guess we go on the offensive here. I can only block 1 flyer anyway. I attack with these guys. I'm happy if they trade with Snackers. I can counterspell a draw 2. If not, they take 5. Play another one of these guys. Not really how these guys are meant to be cast or used. They're not meant to be cast at all. Epic here, I can block here, so I take 2, so I go to 1, so this doesn't kill me, but it was their draw for turn, I think, because otherwise they would have cast it last turn. It does give them another draw with the blood token, and this lets me cast a Lorien next turn, I guess, if I want to do that. I think I just counterspell. If they had a Pyroblast, they could have just used on a Snacker last turn to kill us. So they can't have that. They can't have a damage spell, so it's got to just be a mountain they're holding. Block here, go to 2, escape tunnel. So I'm going to cast a Lorien. Gets back the Snacker. Can't quite hold up counterspell, but we got to play it pretty on the edge here, but we can hit for 5. If they whiff on their draw, I can survive because I can block this guy and I can sack this to gain a life, so I don't die to the Snacker, assuming they don't draw a bolt. And then I have 7 damage on board, and I can Agony Warp their creature if they leave back the Epic here. They just attack with the Snacker. I guess I might as well sack the tapped one, right? Sack this to gain a life. They go to 6. I will go to 1. They pass. Now I have a counter spell, and I have 7 damage on board. So I get to Agony Warp this, and I even get these guys back. Phone is dying, so I'll have to catch the video later. Good luck, have fun. Thank you very much for hanging out. And we win this game, which is absolutely stellar. So, hey, I did keep in the black Eidolons because I knew that there was a possibility that trigger could come up, or that activation. And it absolutely did. That was pretty sick. Can maybe still win this match then. All right, double island, Lorien. So that's 1, 2. Turn 3, we can play a Hound or a Cast Down. 2 of these is pretty good if we get a ploy. Pretty bad otherwise. I think we need something with a little more interaction. All right, this one's just as slow with the Lorien for black mana on turn 3, but we at least have a Duress, and a Cast Down. I want to keep the Snacker for the ploy. I guess we get rid of one of these Duresses. Get an island. They play a Flame Breather. Okay, I have a Cast Down, but it's a turn or 2 away. Spell Bomb. Okay, that's at least something I can play. That's not terrible. The fact that we only have 1 black mana is kind of annoying, though, because I can't, like, Duress and Cast Down next turn. Not to mention Spell Bomb. We need access to 5 black mana right now to cast everything in our hand. We'll take 1 from the Flame Breather. They'll just pass. We get Hounds. What do they have in hand? It could just be a ton of damage, in which case Duress might be the way to go. Hounds stops this from attacking. Cast Down is obviously pretty decent. I think we probably just cast it down, because if they're sandbagging their spells, it means they want to unload them all with the Flame Breather, like Lava Dart, for example. Let's just cast them down in response to that. Obviously, they could have more Lava Darts and stuff, but this way they can't flash this back yet. Do go for a Bolt, and we have the Spell Bomb if they play another one or a Gutter Snipe to interrupt the Lava Dart, or intercept it, I suppose. They just dart us right now. Okay, so I don't even need to use the Spell Bomb. And they cast a Fiery Temper. All right. Island. I mean, I kind of want to Duress. I think that's the safest. They're clearly just casting spells to try to kill us, which means they have a bunch of burn, I think. No? Okay, never mind. That seems crazy to have Fiery Tempered there then, but they got me good. Double Mountain in hand. Do you foresee any bans or unbans when November 10th rolls around? I do not think there's going to be any bans, personally. All right, we have a counterspell, so I'm just going to Snacker to leave this up. If we draw another land, I can Hounds with it up. No, I don't think there's going to be any bans. I personally don't think there's anything that egregious, really. Another Fiery Temper, sure. I mean, personally, based on who I am, I don't love High Tide, I don't love Spy, but I don't think either of them are quite oppressive enough for them to really warrant a ban, and those are the only cards that I think are even, like, in the conversation. I don't really think there's anything else. Don't you badmouth High Tide? I absolutely will. Hey, you can have your fun with it if that's what you want to call it, but I had to play against High Tide 3 times in a row on stream the other day, and that was something. I left up the counterspell. I'm gonna ploy here. If they have double bolt or fire blast or something, they got me good. But pyroblast, that's fine. Another one of these guys. Yeah, so I don't think anything else is even close to being banned, other than High Tide or Spy. I mean, I think people are talking about Jund, which I just think is a crazy thing to talk about, needing a ban. But everybody says Chrysalis. I think if you're going to ban something from Jund, Chrysalis is not the problem. I think Refurb is the more problematic card. Lava Dart the Snacker now, okay. I think Refurb is the most busted creature in the whole format. That said, I certainly don't want it to get banned because it's in a bunch of my favorite decks. But, they did it in response to us casting the spell, so we hadn't even drawn our 3rd card yet, so we get it right back. And we've already attacked, so they literally just wasted that damage. That's fun. And we get a Dispel, pretty nice for us. Yeah. As far as unbans, I haven't looked at the ban list since April when the last ban happened, but I remember looking at it and I not thinking that there was anything reasonable to come off. Pretty much everything on there has a very good reason. It's busted with Storm, it's just a crazy blue card, or it's a crazy black card or something. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling. Git Probe should be unbanned. Yeah, see, that's the crazy blue cards I'm talking about. Although that one doesn't even have to be blue. You could play that in literally any deck ever. All right, I think we're in a fine spot. They did get a Flame Breather past our counter spells, which could be problematic, but we have Counterspell, Dispel. We have a Spell Bomb for Snackers. I think we're all right. Highway Robbery. Like, this isn't a 2-for-1 because they don't have to sack or discard the thing until it resolves, but we are still definitely going to get rid of a draw 2. Personally, I'd be okay with this Sanctuary unban. I'm sure you'd be okay with a lot of the cards. You're going to say Daze and Gush next, I'm sure. All very reasonable cards to get unbanned. Oh no, F-Daze, that's where you draw the line. Okay. Yeah, no, I think Mystic Sanctuary is also pretty egregious. I think I'm just going to Spell Bomb. They're going to Dart, but they have to lose a land for it. I kind of want to draw a card. I don't care too much about a Snacker at this stage, especially because if they draw a Snacker, they also have to draw a draw spell. They do kill the Snacker. I probably should have attacked first. That's fair. I was thinking they'd just go at face. And I kind of want to draw a new card, which is why I'm doing this now. Duress, obviously doesn't do much. I'm going to attack with the Hounds, and then I'm going to play this Eidolon. We still get to hold up Dispel. I'm going to hold the Escape Tunnel because I might draw Brainstorm. And I might want to either use it to Brainstorm, like put it back, or something else. Ban Cleansing Wildfire specifically because it blows me out. I think Wildfire is fine, but I understand if you're a Coggates or Tron enjoyer, it's pretty unfortunate. Grab the Prize is a pretty good draw. Remember, I'm a combo player, not a dirty control player. Fair enough. That's a good point I totally forgot about. Popularity of Bridges makes Gush worse, but then you're not playing Bridges anyway. This foil not played at all in Pauper. Not a lot. It's seen a tiny bit in like Familiars in some versions, or at least Kalikai's plays it in some of those. We do get a Brainstorm, which gets back our Snacker. I'm fine with Gush on the ban list. Free spells always feel bad to play against, hence why I don't play Modern. Yeah, that's fair. Ooh, Blue Blast is good. So they did draw 2, so Duress could have a hit. We don't really need another Hounds, so I think I put back... I could put back the Lorien here. So I'm going to Duress first. If they have a response, I can Dispel it. Maybe they drew 2 more Mountains, but that's also good for us. They Pyroblast the Snacker. I don't even think I care about that, so that's fine. We get a Faithless. To Blue Blast the Flame Breather before it kills us, and I'm gonna leave up this Dispel in case they get like a Fire Blast, because that's a way that we could die. Yeah, in general I don't think free spells are great. Certainly I wouldn't want the number of them that there are. They do find the Fire Blast, and we played around it luckily. They did tap their mana so they can Faithless Looting here, but they're at 1 land, so not sure what they can find. I mean, if they find like Snackers to ditch and then can Faithless Looting again next turn maybe, but they discard 2 Epicures. And we win that match. Very nice for us. Really close one, but I think we did pretty decently there. See, free spell is bad. True. Yeah, I was going to say that in general, I think that the free spells we do have in Pauper are pretty much all balanced, except for Snuff Out. Snuff Out's maybe a little too good, because 4 life is hardly a cost at all. But besides that, Foil is rarely played because it's such an outrageous cost, but occasionally it can see some play. It is really cool when it does. Fire Blast, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Mono Red, although I don't hate it either. So I don't necessarily think Mono Red, it's like, oh, it's so cool they have another way to push damage over the finish line, but the cost is enormous. Sacking 2 lands is big. Now, obviously, if it wins you the game, which it does 90% of the time, it doesn't matter. But if it doesn't, it can be pretty good. Or it can be pretty bad for instead. What other free spells do we have in the format? Like Ramogian Rally sees a little bit of play in White Weenie, but it's 4 mana for +1/+1 if you don't tap a guy for it, so that's kind of a lot. Prismatic Strands is not free initially, but then it is afterwards. This has no interaction, but just solid creatures, and we're on the play. So I think we'll give it a try. What other free spells do we have? I'm sure there's a couple others. I mean, Mutagenic Growth is reasonable in Infect, or sometimes even Fairies. Gut Shot is reasonable sideboard card. Land Grant is free. Land Grant, I don't really think is a busted card, but it's always used in a busted way, so I can't say I love that either. But you're right, that's another free one. So there's a fair amount of free spells, but nothing is, except for Snuff Out, nothing is as egregious as like a Force of Will that it's played in like every single deck. Most of them have a pretty dramatic cost. We get another Kitchen Imp. This is kind of annoying because I want to get down to Sifters, but I almost want to Sifters with the Kitchen Imp. I guess I could just Sifters this turn, then I can Hounds, and then the following turn I can double Kitchen Imp. We're letting some Fairies go through, but I think that's fine. So yeah, we'll play this. Vampire Hounds equals solid creature. You might not have seen our previous game 2 match 1. We won against Mono Blue Terror by dealing them 17 damage when we had 2 2/2s on board. We had 1 Sifter and 1 Hounds, and we ended up pumping them both up, and it was pretty solid. And then we also won against Mono Red, dealing 29 damage with just a Sifters and a Hounds. So it's pretty good here. Okay, Snap's a little annoying. Too many Fairies these days. There's a lot of Fairies for sure. I don't know. Fairies is a cool deck. I can't say I really hate when there's like a lot of Fairies or Terror or Jund Wildfire. Any of the like mid-range or even aggro decks, I feel like they're most conducive to having good, interesting gameplay. So I can't say I'm too upset about playing against them. I mean, I don't want to play against the same deck no matter what it is, like 5 times in a row. But if I play against 1 Fairies every league, it's not that big of a deal. All right, I think here, since this got snapped, we just go with another Sifters and Kitchen Imp, because then I can block both of these guys. Yeah. If there were an actual hand attack deck, Mind Swords would be probably playable. Remind me what Mind Swords is. It's like a Duress for free or something, but you have to pitch a black card. I can't remember exactly. All right, Strix to tap something. Yeah, I don't know if I have to set up something to some sort of plug in to get cards to show up if you do that. I should probably look into that. I'll block here. Ninja the Deep Hours at MTG bot. Okay, yeah. Will do so for the future. Ooh, another Sifters. I mean, Hounds would be cool to get down, but then I can't Kitchen Imp, and I kind of just want to keep playing Kitchen Imps, so let's just do another one of these. Land would be nice, and we find it. Madness, a Kitchen Imp. We only have 2 Imps in the deck, but we found them both. Play an island, and I think we're just holding back. I don't want to attack and then have him tap the other one and get another Ninja down. We're a little pinched on blue, and I don't want this to get spell stuttered, so I guess I'll actually go for a Brainstorm right now. I kind of like all these cards, to be honest. We don't really need to shuffle anything away. Maybe a Swamp would be the biggest thing, but we'll put these 2 back. 1 black sorcery. If you control a swamp, you may sack a creature rather than pay this card's mana cost. Each player exiles 2 cards from their hand. Each player, gotcha. Until the each player, I was like, oh, this sounds like a card you could play in like Black Sack. If it's just sack a creature, play it for free, and like Thoughtseize them, probably would already be seeing play. But each player exiles 2 is definitely a little tough. They got a couple of Fairy Seers here. Scry 2 to the top, 1 top, 1 bottom from the first one. So we're drawing a Lorien Revealed. We have a Swamp on top. They can have a Spell Stutter for 3. I think I'll cast a Snacker. If they want to... Oh, right, we get this guy back. I always forget that. If they want to Spell Stutter this, then I can just Brainstorm it right back. Not to mention then shuffle with the Lorien. We know there's a Swamp and we don't want it, so I think I will just hold up a Counterspell here. The next turn I can play the Hounds with the Counterspell backup if I want. There's a Strix. We got a lot of blockers though. Tap a Snacker. They're going to get in? Get in with a Ninja? Sure, because I'll have to trade off a Flyer. Might as well block with 2 in case they have a Brine Barrow or even a Mutagenic Growth. There's a Humbling Elder. Maybe they have 2. Although then I can just counter the second one if I really want. They shrink one of them. Just shrinking one doesn't really do anything for them. So unless they're about to like of one mind, that was kind of a waste. And they're not, so that's good. Ooh, Mob Lookout discards this, which grows this. I think we'll just play the Hounds first though. Pass the turn. Miscreant's totally fine. I'm going to discard the Eidolon to pump these guys. And I'm going to play a Mob Lookout to get it back. I'm going to connive on the Snacker so it can have toughness to block the other guys. Ooh, another Snacker. Well, might as well discard this one. I can discard the Snacker to the Hounds if I want. And they only have 1 ground creature and we have a blocker here, so I might as well just attack with our other ground creatures, which can both grow a bunch, or I guess grow a little bit. They have another Elder, so they can shrink this. It's a 1/4, and then it only eats 1 guy. I think I'll counterspell this. I was thinking, oh, well, that just won the game. I was thinking that the Sifters would grow from the Snacker, but it won't. So actually, if I make it a 1/4, trades with 1 guy, it's not great. If they tried to kill this guy, I could obviously make it bigger, but that wins the game. So Arms of Adar for that position would be pretty good. Duress and Dispel, I think, is all that we want. We're not cutting any flyers or really creatures at all. I think Mob Lookout's still good. Agony Warp's not bad, so I guess we don't need the deploys quite as much here. I guess maybe we don't need both of the Lookouts. Cut one of these guys. Alright, we'll cut them both. I guess we have enough creatures on the ground already. We still have 18 creatures in the deck, plus like a bunch of removal spells, so I think we'll be okay. This one's a little awkward. We only can cast a counter spell, so I don't think we're going to keep this one. This one's worse. Alright, this is something. Get rid of this guy, get rid of, I think, just the Brainstorm. If we Brainstorm lock ourselves, it's kind of a waste of a card. This way we at least have some interaction. Could have gotten rid of a land, which is my usual greedy inclination. Play an Aquifer. No Ninja. Pass the turn. They could just spell stutter this, so I don't really want that to happen. Plus, they don't have a Ninja at the moment, it appears. So I'm fine to keep taking 1. Humbling Elder is fine. This could let them of 1 mind for 1 mana, but I can't do much about that. Swing for 2. They miss a land that turn. Okay, we have a blocker. Plus it lets us Kitchen Imp. Although if I cast this, I actually can't... I can't counterspell, but I could Agony Warp to get it through the Spell Stutter. So yeah, we'll go for this. They go for that, and we'll just kill this. This does mean I can't Kitchen Imp, so I guess I hope to draw an Eidolon. Just a Swamp is probably worth discarding. I mean, this at least blocks the Humbling Elder. They get in with the Seer, find a Ninja, replay the Seer, we get an Island. I guess I'm just going to hard cast a Kitchen Imp to block, because I don't want the Ninja to keep hitting me, which, you know, if they have a way to get rid of this, it might happen anyway, but... Or they could have another Humbling Elder. Maybe I don't block for that reason, because the next turn I could counterspell. Yeah, it might have been better. Like, it's fine if we draw something else, like a Hounds or something to block, but if we don't draw anything, then it's kind of worse. Oh, we'll play another Sifters. We will try to counterspell the Sprite, and they counterspell back. Brutal. I guess we'll take 4. They get to draw a card. They have another ninja for the spell stutter. All right, I think that's going to do it with the spell stutter back in hand. Even if we drew like Arms of Adar there, we didn't have the mana for both it and the counterspell, so I guess if they didn't have a counterspell other than the spell stutter, they wouldn't be able to do it. Maybe I should have taken a draw, but that one seemed pretty gone. All right, Duress, Sifters, I guess it's okay. We have a creature, that's kind of it. We have mana, play the Tunnel. There's a Miscreant. So we'll pull out a Swamp here and just cast the Sifters. I think we just get rid of the Tunnel here. I guess that shuffles with the Brainstorm if we want to keep the Lorien, so maybe it would have been better to get rid of an island. We'll take just 1 damage. Could Duress, then they Spell Stutter, and I get through just a Brainstorm. That doesn't feel very good. Oops. So let's just pass here. Also attacking in could make them Humbling Elder. Theoretically, they could double Humbling Elder and kill this. That's not really the concern. It's just it doesn't really make sense to get in for damage here when they could just like have an attacker back. We take 1. I'll go for a Brainstorm here. If they want to Spell Stutter this, that's fine. All right. Let's get rid of 2 islands. Dahada's Ploy. So now I could Duress. And if that catches a Spell Stutter, then I could like Sifters, Brainstorm to try to find like a spirit to discard. I think that might be decent. They just counterspell. That's fine too. Well, I'll go for a Brainstorm here. I'm going to cast it anyway, so in case I find something I want to use that on. Okay. We find Kitchen Imp, which is pretty awkward with all of our mana issues. I could Kitchen Imp with the Sifters next turn, but I think I just want a Sifters here. So let's just put back these 2. That goes off. Play the Sifters. Grow them both by discarding this guy. Now I can start beating in for a little bit. And then every Dahada's Ploy I cast can grow these again by bringing this back. They don't attack. I guess that could mean they could have like 2 Brine Barrows or flash creatures to like block and triple block one of these. I think I'd probably just pass here. No reason to cast anything if they're not going to, I think. There's a Gale Blade. Let's go for a Ploy. No, they could still... This isn't a fairy, so it doesn't matter for the fairy count. Yeah, we'll do it at the end step. I don't think there's a reason to now. Bind the monster. I could deal an extra damage by doing the Ploy now then. I think I might as well. Again, they can't Spell Stutter, so if they just want to counterspell this, that's fine. I still get this back to hand. Discard another one. Well, draw another one. So now they take 3 off of this. Swing with the Gale Blade. Interesting one to attack with, because this is usually the one you'd want to... I guess they want the flash creature. Fair enough. They do get in with a ninja. We know they have a Ilvoid Gale Blade, probably a Spell Stutter Sprite. We get a counterspell, that's pretty good. So I'm going to Dahada's Ploy while they're tapped out, discarding this, getting them both back, growing our guys, hold up counterspell, discard 1 again, and I gotta hold this back to try to block the ninja, counterspell to try to prevent a removal spell or a snap or something. Swing with the Miscreant this time. No ninja. Alright, I definitely want double black, and I think we just hold up another Ploy and a counterspell. There's a Miscreant. That draws a card, but I don't think that's what we want to counter. Harrier Strix, I think, is worthy of being countered. Then they get to Spell Stutter it, but then they're tapped out. They swing for 1. We'll go with the Ploy. That they can Spell Stutter, that's fine. Brings this back. Cast down's not bad. We know we have that. I could get a Kitchen Imp down. We're still pinched on black mana, which is really annoying. Kind of want to Duress, but I think Ploy casting a Kitchen Imp is probably good enough, because that's another blocker. It's also a flying blocker, which is pretty good. If we draw a swamp here, we can also cast something else. No, but we get a counterspell. Grow these a little bit. We're still holding back. They still have a Gale Blade we know about. Pass and a swamp. So we can double cast down and counterspell, or I could start with a Duress. I think we'll Duress. 2 Humbling Elders, Gale Blade, and a Spell Stutter Sprite. Okay, so we don't hit, but we do know all of that information, which is pretty helpful. Spell Stutter's annoying, but I have a counterspell for that. So I could just start casting things down if I want here. If I cast down the ninja, I can start attacking with the Sifters. I think that's pretty good. I guess Sifters gets chumped by the Gale Blade pretty easily, and obviously they could top deck a ninja, but as long as that ninja's gone, I think I'm more okay just attacking. There's the Gale Blade. Block, let him draw a new card, and we'll pass with our interaction up. Swing with these guys, that means they must have hit a ninja. So, or no, because they could just have the Humbling Elder, but that seems unlikely. I mean, we're definitely blocking the Spell Stutter. If they go for a ninja, then I can cast it down. Yeah, if they're just Humbling Eldering this to get in for 1 damage, that is totally fine by me. Okay, they do also have the ninja. So I'm going to cast down the ninja. They do get a Miscreant back, which is going to draw my card, but I have the counterspell for the Spell Stutter, so it's still not bad. They don't even play it. Okay, they hold up the other Elder, I guess. Let's start with a Ploy. I might start casting these guys. Never mind. Not with the Hounds. Swing with the Sifters, and they chump. Next turn, Hounds can be like +10. They replay their Miscreant. Relic of Progenitus. Okay, that's annoying. If they crack it, we just lose the Ploy. We still have 2 Eidolons, but we need to draw something. We've already used 3 ploys, so a bit unfortunate. Bind the monster on the Sifters. They're going to take 7. I could discard these to make it 9, but I think 7's plenty. I prefer to save these for the Hounds. Arms of Hadar. They have a Humbling Elder and something else, which could be a Spell Stutter theoretically. I think we attack with the Hounds first, and if they play out a Humbling Elder, then I can just arms them pretty safely. They do. If they want to block a whole bunch, I can just discard the Eidolons to eat their guy. They just take it. That's totally fine. I'm going to attempt to wipe the board. Alright, that works. Lorien revealed. Let's cast one of those. Alright, they found a counterspell, so this isn't quite lethal, but... Oh wait, it is 8. So unless they have another Humbling Elder, it is lethal. Actually, we will just go for it. I was thinking that this was 2 power, or 0 power, because that's what they had made it before. But I think it makes sense to just go for lethal, since we've already seen 2 or 3 Humbling Elders. I could also just save one of these guys to cast, which isn't terrible either, but I guess if they have a snap, that's not great. But they give us the GGs. Alright, able to take down fairies, so 3-1. Not doing too poorly. Alright, round 5 here. We have 2 lands with the Lorien. And Mob Lookout Snacker, yeah, this looks pretty decent. We're going to give it a try. Start with a Swamp, and against Gates, it appears. Cycle a Lorien for an island, and I guess if I want a Mob Lookout for the Kitchen Imp, I should wait a turn to do that, which means, yeah, I kind of just want to cast the Snacker. Against Gates, I kind of want to try to be a little aggressive. Now, since I do this, if I don't draw an untapped land, I can't Mob Lookout and Kitchen Imp next turn, but I could still look out to grow the Snacker for more damage, and then maybe Kitchen Imp off of something else later. They have a Medic, Counterspell. Yeah, let's play the Lookout onto the Snacker, Vampire. Yeah, so we can discard the Kitchen Imp with that in a couple turns. Discard this guy, swing for 3. And they have a Squadron Hawk. Luckily, we just pumped up the Snacker, so it doesn't die as easily. Swing for 1. We're going to block, but they do gain their life. We get an Aquifer. I can hold up Counterspell. I kind of just want to get down the Hounds. Might be a little aggressive, but if we can do that, and then we can start leaving up Cast Down and Counterspell, I think things are pretty decent. They do have a Journey to Nowhere. Probably going to take the Hounds. Maybe. I mean, this guy is very unknown, so people might be not super high on it, but it does kind of look the scariest on the board, so that's unfortunate. Swing for 2, and so now I could just hard cast a Kitchen Imp, but then we're susceptible to whatever else they got. I think we'll hold up both of these. They Brainstorm, then go for a Hawk. I don't think that's one we're going to counter, even though they're trying to get good value out of it with the Brainstorm. Play a Gate. Gonna leave back 2 Hawks. If I attack, they'll double block, and I can probably cast down to blow them out a little bit. Or I could just Dahada's Ploy to bring this guy back, and then Kitchen Imp post-combat. Guess it's not bad either. We lose the counter, which means it trades off with these a little bit more, but we get to keep our cast down, which I kind of like. So I think we'll let it go. Roll Feel LOL subscribed with Prime for 2 months. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So we get back our Eidolon. We also get back our Snacker. They have a Dispel. That means we can't get back the Snacker. It's pretty annoying. I could Counterspell to get back the Snacker, but then I can't Kitchen Imp. I also just don't hold up the Counterspell. I think we got to let that go, and then I can just flash it back next turn, but a little annoying for sure. They Brainstorm again. Play another Hawk to drop the last one. There's a Gate. If they suit up this Medic, I'm going to cast it down because I don't really want them to gain a bunch of life, but of course they get to draw a card here. So I can flash back to Dahada's Ploy, get our Snacker, get our Kitchen Imp. If we draw a land, then I can hold up a Counterspell. If not, we just don't do anything. We hold up Counterspell. They've got 7 cards in hand. I don't think that's going to be a good enough play. So I'm going to do this. Madness this guy, and then discard this guy. So if I'd done it the other way and I discarded the Eidolon first, it would have come back immediately. So it could have been better to do it that way. The reason I did it this way was if I got my other Kitchen Imp, then I could have madnessed them both, but there's only one other Kitchen Imp in the deck, so that probably wasn't actually worth it. It would probably just be nice to have this in our hand still. So maybe I was getting a little too fancy. We didn't hit the land, so we have a lot of good interaction, but not able to use it this turn. Shields down. So we hit for 2 and just pass. I think Swarm would be good in this deck. I generally think Swarm is just an inferior Kitchen Imp. So if you're playing Rakdos Madness and you want to have more than 4 Kitchen Imps, I think it's fine to have a couple copies. But in this deck, we're only playing 2 Kitchen Imps, so I would play 2 more before I'd play Swarm. Because the only benefit that you get, really, I guess it has Flash, which is more relevant in this deck. So that's kind of interesting. But you lose haste, It's cheaper if you hard cast it, and it doesn't get cast down, which I know people like the idea of that, but in general, I think it's just worse. The no haste is kind of the, not that we're an aggro deck, but still haste can be pretty strong. But it's also something I haven't tried, and I am hesitant to say something is bad before I've actually tried it. So, it could be worth trying for sure. So they Journey to Nowhere, our Snacker. They Brainstorm, then they swing with their Hawk. Okay, nothing there was devastating. I mean, we lost the Snackers, which is a little annoying, but not the worst thing to happen while we're tapped out. They're going to play Prismatic Strands. Okay. I could counter that, but it's only 2 damage, and it's not like they're really low anyway, so I think that's fine. I think we're focused on countering creatures now. We know they have a Squadron Hawk, or at least they can. They might have shuffled it away with the Brainstorm, but Modern Age is eventually going to be a creature, plus it gives them value, so I think we counter that one. Same with Squadron Hawk. I honestly think, I mean, if they end up having like a Sacred Cat after all this, then it's kind of bad, or another Modern Age is rough, but I'd just like to try to keep them off of creatures as best I can. They don't attack. Hounds is not great just because we have nothing to really discard to it. We only have 1 Eidolon to come back anyway. We're certainly going to cast it, but not the best thing ever. Discard a Suffocating Fumes they're running in their main deck. I guess I didn't notice this is on black, so that makes sense. Another Journey to Nowhere. That's their 3rd. That gets rid of our Hounds, which is going to be our best way to kill them. I tap the Basilisk Gate. They're not even interested in attacking this turn. So if I counter this, they might have like a Lorien revealed. They might also just have a counterspell of their own. And the Hounds doesn't do very much for us right now. Like, it is decent if we get a Ploy, but if we don't, it's just kind of nothing at all. So I think we'll let it go. Now they have a Thraben Charm. So I could counterspell this, or I could cast down the Squadron Hawk. But if they have a counterspell, like if they don't have a counterspell, I get a 2-for-1. If they do, it's just 2 1-for-1s. We have a counterspell left, but they have a Hawk we can't deal with. I think I just counterspell. Yeah, they got the counterspell back. So this way, we at least have a way to kill this, and hopefully we draw better than they do. That's not going to cut it. Maybe I should just cast this down while they don't have counterspell mana, but I kind of want them to waste mana on the gate. I guess they have the Vector Glider too. This is a Lorien. Yep. We don't have the counterspell for that anymore. Then gate onto the Hawk. We'll kill it. And now we're just getting islands. Yeah, unfortunate. Now we're just going to die to another Lorien revealed. Yikes. Alright, we're dead. Not really sure what we can do against this one. I mean, Spell Bombs for cats is decent. Arms of Adar, but they really weren't running out many creatures at once, so I don't think that's worth it. Duress and Dispel, I guess. Oh, I kind of like Last Rites here. If we get it to resolve, just take their whole hand. It's pretty decent. I guess we're cutting the main things we usually cut. Spellbomb's also nice to follow up after our Last Rites. I don't know. This one feels like very difficult to sideboard because everything works together pretty nicely. And when you start breaking down the specific numbers of that, it's kind of tough. We have some good interaction. We do have the Last Rites Spellbomb combo. We can also Brainstorm and then Lorien revealed, so I might want to do Seagate on white. Duress is not bad, but if we're just going for our Last Rites, we don't really need it. Island is good. We'll put back one of these Ploys. Although I guess if we're just trying to discard our cards, we'd rather just have cards in hand that have effects if we discard them. So like Ploy seems decent to get actually. But Duress we don't really need, so we'll just play this. So like theoretically, if they just tap out here and I can Last Rites to take away most of their entire hand, it's pretty good. They play a Relic. Okay, well that makes our Ploys go to the graveyard a lot worse, unfortunately. Yeah, this is a lot worse if we discard everything and then we can discard 5, but then we don't have anything. I think the chance, we should probably only discard 4 at the most because they probably have a couple lands. So we discard Ploy, Spellbomb, Brainstorm, Eidolon. We keep one of the Ploys, I guess. I don't know. I think this is pretty decent. The Relic makes things a lot more awkward, but alright, we get to take away, yeah, the fact that they have cats too, that we are discarding the Spellbomb for, pretty annoying too, but Brainstorm, they did put this on red. That's 2 Seagates, so they have mana for the Pyroblast. So I guess we leave them with the Pyroblast so that we can kind of play around, take away 2 cats, and if they, I guess they can get a cat and then they can crack the Relic, but by getting the cats, it does make it more costly for them to crack the Relic right now. I don't know. Is this the best play ever? I don't know, but Coggates is a tough one to play against, and if I'm able to take away most of their spells, that seems decent to me. They tap it, Snacker. I think we'll just pass. I guess I could hit a land drop. Well, let's do this. Discard a Snacker, and then this will probably force him to crack the Relic, because otherwise we get our Snacker back. We also get this Eidolon back. Oh, I guess they could just Pyroblast it. Fair enough. We did leave him with the Pyroblast if they want to use that. So maybe leaving him with the Counterspell would have been better, because they couldn't do both that and the Relic. Although I guess it doesn't matter, because their goal, if they use the Pyro, is to not use the Relic. Alright, they just go for it. They still go for the Pyro. Alright. They find a Squadron Hawk. It's going to refill their hand pretty nicely. Swing for 1. And that's not a bad draw. We're going to cast this guy. Discard this. Play a swamp. Pass. Cycle a Lorien. We'll take 2. Play another one of these guys. Now I wish I had the Arms of Hadar. Lorien revealed. I kind of want to hardcast that. Then we're not playing the ploy. I guess we'll just hold up Counterspell here. If we could resolve this, though, that'd be pretty decent to get us some value. We'll take 3. Play a Medic. That one, since it's going to get him a card anyway, we might as well Counterspell. I think I'd rather just Tahada's Ploy the Duress here. So we'll discard it, bring this guy back, draw 2, discard it again. Now we have an Aquifer and a Lorien. We are taking some damage. I can play the Hounds if I want to block, although the chances they have a removal spell or something are pretty high. There's a Brainstorm. Let's cast that first. Yeah. I don't really want to shuffle the cast down away, but I'm also not going to play it this turn because I'm going to play this guy. So I might as well put it back on top. There's the Journey. I guess I kind of do want to get rid of the cast down because it doesn't really do anything here. We're not losing to one big creature. We're losing to a whole bunch. So we will shuffle these away, play a Lorien. I mean, I think we're just going to lose to these guys, but we're doing what we can. There's a Spell Bomb. Way too late. I guess if we can kill this one of these cats, we can get a little value off of it. Swing for 4. We get a Hounds. We will cast another Lorien, and then cast Hounds. They cast a Lorien. Pass. We get another Spell Bomb. I guess we're going to crack 1 to draw something here. Agony Warp is decent. I can play this. Play this, bring this guy back, and play a Tunnel. Pass the turn, cycle a Lorien revealed. They find another Journey to Nowhere. Alright, we're going to, I guess I might as well block here. We're going to shrink this one, kill this one, and then I'm going to Spell Bomb away these before they can get the cat back. Maybe I should have just killed the other cat. Fair. I think we just want as much mana as possible. So let's crack this. Tahada's Ploy. I guess we will cast that. That's all we really have. I might just cast this guy, I suppose. Yep. Discard this. Bring the Snacker back. Cast this guy. They Brainstorm. Counterspell. I'm gonna Dispel. Kind of funny fighting over this guy, but it's a blocker. Cast another Hawk. Pull out the last one. Play that too. They swing for 1, which we'll take. Shipwreck Sifters. We'll play that. They Pyroblast. I'm going to sack this in response. Then I'm going to Tahada's Ploy, discarding this, getting this guy back to hand, and discarding an island. That's fine. And we'll recast this guy. Boom. So much value. Like 5 mana from him and some hoops to jump through to gain 1 life and drain for 1. Arms of Hadar on us. Pretty decent. I don't think we're going to come back from this one, unfortunately. We were kind of losing the whole time, so we're gonna scoop it up. But we did get a 3-2 with the deck. Not bad at all. I think it's really cool. I like it a lot. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. We were able to get the Hounds off a couple times with the Shipwreck Sifters, comboing off a little bit with the Eidolons and the Tahada's Ploy. So it's pretty sweet.